Hi everyone, this is Val from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another sparkling beading video. But before I get started, here's a quick reminder to check out our channel, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified every time we have a new listing. Our project today is a Seatide Treasure Bracelet, and it kind of reminds me of walking along the shoreline and finding some little objects along the shore. The products we'll be using today are some 6mm crystal bicones, some 3mm round pearls. You'll be needing two sizes of 4mm bicones, and it helps to have a little special finish, whether it's AB or double AB, like AB2X. 8OC beads, and we're using kind of an opaque color, or you could use a matte or anything like that, just kind of resemble bubbles or little shells or pearls. And we need some toggle clasp and crimp beads, these little hematite shells with a titanium coating. You'll be needing wire cutters, a flat nose plier, and some 014 soft flex wire. So I went ahead and I cut a 27-inch piece of soft flex wire, and I centered my toggle clasp on that wire and crimped it with a crimp bead. So now I want to alternate my beads as far as the color goes. So I have kind of a more greenish color one, and one that's a little bit more slate blue. So I'm just going to alternate the colors. You could just use one of the colors, whichever you choose. So I'm going to just start stringing on one of my lines an alternate of seed bead, the clearish bicone in 4mm, and another seed bead. So just like this. And then I'm going to string up my beads. So I kind of did it in a one up, one down combination, just like this. I'm going to continue till I reach the desired length, which is going to be all of the beads that I have, I think, and I'll be back. Once you finish with your first row of beads, we're just going to add a little gadget like this on the end, or use a piece of tape if you want, just to hold it together. And now I'm just going to keep this part kind of flowy where there's a lot of space right now. I'm on this next line, I'm going to start adding a next section of beads. So I know I want to add in this color bicone for a really nice pop of color, and yet I want a little bit of space between my next bead. So I'm going to add this little tiny pearl and a 6mm bicone. And now I want to sew in the same direction into my shell beads, just like this. We're going to repeat this pattern again. So 4mm, a 3mm pearl, and a bicone in 6mm, and sew into the next bead. So when you push the beads together, it will give it an effect like this. And it naturally actually pretty much goes, you see how it swirls? It goes up in a pattern like this way and back up. It almost always will do this naturally as you go in and out of your larger beads. So I'm going to continue doing this till I get to the end, and then I'm just going to measure it from there around your wrist to see if it's long enough or short, or if you need it shorter, or if you wanted to put it around your ankle, then you would definitely need it to be a little longer. So once you have all of your beads put together, and I figured out you need a section per inch of your wrist. So if you have a 6-inch wrist, do 6 shell sections, and if you have a larger wrist, just account for that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure all of your shell beads are all facing the proper direction. And you can either go as close together or further apart as you want as your bubbles. So if you don't want to see a lot of wire between, you can just gently push all your beads together a little closer. But if you want them to have a floating effect, then leave a little bit more space between, just like this. So I kind of like mine to be a little bit more floaty, so I'm just going to very gently just separate them a little bit more. Great, and now I'm ready to finish off my bracelet. So add 2 crimp beads, and add both of your lines through your 1 crimp bead. Add your other end of your toggle. So now you want to put your both ends back through that crimp bead. And you never want to cut your line right where your crimp bead is. So we want to go ahead and try to feed your line back through a couple of beads. So on each side, I'm going to try to put through a few beads. And this side just has that 1 pearl and a bicone, so I'm going to slip that through just those 2 beads. And you can use your flat nose plier here to help you as well, just to help you pull it out and tighten it up. And before I completely crimp my project, I want to do one last check of how I want it to look. And so if you notice that one section has more space than you want it, you can just pull your line a little bit tighter. Okay, so it looks good to me. So now I'm just going to bring the crimp bead up a little higher to the top of right below my toggle and pull my line at the same time. And that will ensure it to be a little bit tighter. Then you take your flat nose plier or crimp tool and just give your crimp a squish. And I always do that from both directions just to make sure I got both sides, make sure it's nice and tight. Then you take your wire cutter and cut off the excess. And just close up your toggle. And just before you wear it, just give it a little check just to make sure all your beads are in the right direction. And here you go, Seatide Treasure. Like always, all the supplies used in this video are available on eurekacrystalbeads.com, and all the supplies listed today will also be in the comments section below. Thanks for joining us.